Hey guys, been a little while, but things have died down for me in my daily schedule, so thought it'd be a good time to put out a new video. Also, have a couple of new things that I just got samples of that can give some first impressions of. Some new releases coming out these days. There's a couple of really good juices that I've been looking forward to. There hasn't been a lot over the past 5-6 months that I've really personally look forward to as far as new releases. However, there are a few that are coming out now, that have come out, that sound pretty good. So, got a couple of first impressions, as well as a bunch of splits. I haven't done that in a while. I haven't split a whole lot lately. But we'll fix that. So, first, let's start with Tom Ford. Now, when I first heard he was coming out with a fourth juice from his Neroli Portofino collection, subline, whatever he wants to call it, the first reaction was, really? Another one? But, you know, Neroli's a good juice. It's been around for a while. The two he released last year, Costa Azzurra and Mandarino di Malfi, were good releases, not great. They're warm weather juice, but they weren't bad. So this fourth one is called Fleur de Portofino. Hasn't gotten a lot of press, at least here in the community. I don't know if that's because Tom Ford line has gone downhill a little bit, which it kind of has, or they didn't publicize it very well. Whatever the case may be, it's coming out. In fact, it is pretty much out already. Just in the past week or so, the bottles are starting to come into stores. So, anyways, I just got this today. A little sample of it. Wearing it right now. Let's do the notes first, just to give a baseline. It is bergamot, citruses, osmanthus, black locust, and black locust honey. Whatever the honey of black locust plant smells like, or black locust tree. That's what it is. So from those notes, you can tell it's pretty much warm weather juice. Probably going to be a little bit citrusy, a little bit herbal, a little sweet. And honestly, having worn, well, that's a new word. Having worn this now, I've had it on for about an hour. It's pretty much what it is. It's a nice juice. It smells good. It definitely is a warm weather scent. It is for the summer months. Spring and summer months, I would say. Not very floral. I don't quite agree with the Fleur part of the name. It's not really the first image that comes to mind. I think a good way to describe it would be if you took Neroli Portofino, you took out the soapiness of it, left the citrus, added in slight sweetness from the honey. That'd be a pretty good representation of this. By no means is this sugary or anything like that. It's not. It's definitely got a bit of a citrus, bit of an herbal texture to it, and some very light sweetness from the black locust honey, special kind of honey that he uses. It's nice. I think it's a good warm weather scent. Those of you who followed my channel for a while know that it is my least favorite time of year for fragrance when the warm weather months hit. Not a fan. But there are some that are good, and I think this would fall into that category. If you are a fan of the three from this line, the Neroli, the Costa Azzurra, and the Mandarino, I cannot see any reason why you wouldn't like this. I think you would. This is definitely in that same vein. The bottle is the same kind of color scheme. They originally started with this green, teal, blue Neroli once they got rid of the brown version of this. And the Fleur de Portofino is in a more light blue, a little bit different from the Mandarino. So that is that. I think it's a good scent, another good release. I remember when I first reviewed the two he released last summer, my thoughts were very similar. A good release, smells good, does its job. I think this falls into the same category. It's nothing terribly groundbreaking. It definitely smells better than, some of the designer summer scents you'll see out there, like those Calvin Klein Eternity Summer and CK1 Summers that they release every year. It's definitely better than that, better than a lot of those summer flankers you see coming out. So if this is your thing, I would definitely say try it. And I will host a split of this. Why don't I just give you the prices right now for each one of these? So for the Fleur de Portofino, all of these prices include shipping in the U.S. 10 milliliters, $26. 20 milliliters is $52.50. 25 milliliters is $64. And 50 ml is $123.25 with his new increased pricing. Lovely man he is. So that is that. Moving along. Next one that I have also received a sample of is the new one from Francis Kurkdjian. This is Oud Satin Mood. Also a fourth release from a sub-line. Actually, no, wrong. This is fifth from the Oud line. Fourth from the Mood line. Dumb names. I really wish he would drop the whole mood thing. It's really just stupid. Unlike the three moods that he released before, the cashmere, silk, and velvet, this is not an extrait. This is an EDP, much like his original Oud, and is priced similarly at $300 instead of $375, which I think is very good because while the other three were very good juices, they were too much. They became very difficult to wear in a lot of circumstances, certainly in an office setting, in the daytime. It was just too much. Way too much, became too cloying, too overpowering. And for the price he charged, it was too difficult to wear. So, in walks Oud Satin Mood. Now, we'll do the notes just to let you know what's up. There is oud, two kinds of rose, Bulgarian and Turkish. Is that right? Yes, Bulgarian and Turkish. Benzoin, violet, and vanilla. Now, easiest way to describe this, if you are a fan of Armani's Rose d'Arabie, you will like this a lot. They're certainly not carbon copies of one another, but there's definite similarities. This is going to give you a nice dose of vanilla, a nice dose of oud, and a nice dose of the benzoin, which, if you're not familiar, benzoin is a similar scent profile to amber, kind of resinous. It's resinous, amber, so it is a resin. Not a whole lot of rose, a little bit. Violet is not a main player in there. I, so far, am a fan of this. I like it. It's very good. It is strong. That, I don't want to say it's a downside of it. I'll give you a point of reference. I smelled this when I left work today, and I only had it on a card. I put the card in my work bag, and as I was taking the train home from work, the card was inside my bag, and somebody standing about 5 feet away from me on the train looks around, and I could still smell it from my bag, and turns to his friend, and I overhear him say, "My God, it smells like cheese in here. Ugh." Now, this does not smell like cheese. The guy's representation of the smell was terrible. He didn't know what he was talking about. And for all I know, he might have been smelling somebody else. But, point being, this one is not weak. it is quite strong from my initial impressions of it. So, I still don't think it is as overpowering as the extracts. I think it's toned down a little bit, but it is not weak by any means whatsoever. So, again, if you're a fan of the Rose Araby, I think that's the best reference point. I don't think it would be redundant to own both of them. The Armani is much heavier on the sweet vanilla. This one is not. I think the term satin he used is very appropriate here, as they have been for the other three from the line. The texture of this one is very satiny. It's not as soft as his silk. It's not quite as, I don't want to say abrasive, but sort of abrasive as the velvet and the cashmere. This one is a very smooth, yet fibrous kind of feel to it when it sits on you. Very unisex, not really either way. A lot of people thought the silk was too feminine. If you think the silk mood is too feminine, this one will be right up your alley. This definitely, if you take the other three, take the silk and the cashmere and the velvet, those two, the cashmere and velvet, shared a lot of similarities. They're not quite the same, but they were in the same category. This one, the satin, is much closer to the silk. So, cashmere and velvet over here, satin and silk over here. Good juice, really good juice. Very solid release from him. I wasn't a very big fan of his other recent release, A La Rose. It was far too fruity and floral for me. Wasn't a big fan. So, split. Because why not? So this one is priced the same as his oud, regular oud, at $300 a bottle for 70 milliliters. So for 5 milliliters, cost you $24.75. 10 milliliters will be $46.50. 15 will be $69.25 for the Kurkdjian. Now the final one, I don't have an impression of this because I don't have a sample of it, but Kilian has not really a new release. This was first released last year, late in 2014. It was exclusive to his boutique in London, in Harrods. It's called Single Malt. Single Malt. Following in line with his other city exclusive scents, which are really starting to get ridiculous. I wish these companies would stop with these damn city exclusives. Just release them worldwide, or don't release them. Stop with this garbage. But the New York was apple brandy, the Moscow was vodka on the rocks. So naturally, let's have another drink. Single malt whiskey in London. Now, the notes for this one, interestingly enough, whiskey is not a listed note. It is wheat. Where am I looking here? Wheat, plum, vanilla, tolu, and cedar. Tolu. I looked it up. Tolu is a type of balm that comes from, it's kind of a vague description. It comes from a plant. I don't know. The description made it seem sort of resinous a little bit. Tinge of sweetness. I don't know. It wasn't a very good thing. There wasn't a whole lot on it. But from what I've read, this one shares some similarities with, I saw somebody who said that this was a boozy tobacco vanille from Tom Ford. Apparently the wheat note that he uses gives off a bit of a tobacco-ish scent, and when you mix that with the vanilla note, add in the plum, which is kind of similar to the dried fruits that are present in tobacco vanille, it gives some of that. Whether that's true, I don't know. I haven't smelled it. But my interest in this comes from Kilian's body of work with using boozy notes. He's done an excellent job with that throughout his line. You go back to Straight to Heaven with rum, obviously apple brandy, Moscow's vodka on the rocks, which was good. I tried it once. It's not really vodka, but a good juice, not great. And, of course, back to black. So, I've always felt that his alcoholic fragrances are his best work. And in that line, when I first saw this come out, I wanted to give it a shot as my battery gets low. And now it is available through his boutique in New York City. So, split. Why not? This bottle only comes in the 50 milliliter size. He doesn't have refills for it yet. Retails for $295. Quite expensive. So, 5 milliliters will run you $33. 10 milliliters will run $62.50. If you want any more than that, let me know, and I can work out a price. So that is that. All three of those. It's good to be back. I will be posting some regularity. As always, if you have any questions about any of these juices, I will be more than happy to help you out as best I can. Obviously, the Kilian I don't know too much about because it's a blind buy for me. If you are interested in joining any of the splits, please do comment below, send me a message, and we will get these going. Hopefully, get them filled up. All right? Talk to you soon, guys.